everyone, time again for another pickup video. Well, this week I went out to Knoxville, Tennessee on business. Made a few stops out there. One of my favorite places to go, Ed McKay's bookstore, which I typically find stuff at. And I hit a few thrift stores on the way back home. Found a really awesome find, which I'll get to here pretty soon. But first, I will send out a real big thank you to Paul Stevenson of the Retro Obscura podcast. He sent me a complete in box Atari 7800 Asteroids. Awesome! Cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the game since I started off with this. No. Let's go to the big find first. Then I'll go to the games. Well, the big find I found this week was a JVC X'Eye. Oh boy. Awesome. Now this one has the composite output on it. Works really well. What's really neat, it has built-in memory and everything. It's a pretty cool system. Found this at a thrift store. Was pretty stoked to see it. It was actually put down as a CD player. Got the little JVC branded Genesis controller with it as well. Got the power supply and all that good stuff. It has that special power supply. I think it's 9.5 volts and 1500 milliamps if I remember right. So a Genesis 2 power supply will plug into it, but you don't want to use it with it because it only puts out like 850 milliamps. And that thing takes 1.5 to run the CD part, so it could damage that thing. Same thing with the CDX. That one I do have the right power supply, so I can use it on the JVC, because the one that came with this freaking thing was a Genesis 2 power supply. But oh well, at least I got an extra power supply here I can use on it. Now let's get to the games. First one, of course, I just mentioned was Asteroids on the Atari 7800. That was sent to me by Paul Stevenson. Not too bad of an Asteroids type game. It's got some neat sound effects in it. I kind of like the sound effect when the ship warps in. It goes zzzt. That's kind of cool. One thing I really don't like is the bump, bump, bump drops out every time you shoot. It doesn't keep playing in the background. So it's like it plays one sound at a time and eliminates everything else. But other than that, it's very colorful. It is a pretty fun Asteroids game to play. I just can't get by how all the asteroids look like planets running around in there. They don't look like asteroids from the Asteroids game. It would have been better if they would have made them jaggy like asteroids. But that's just a minor little nuisance. It's a fun game to play. For my Atari 2600, I found Infiltrate. It's an okay game. Basically, it's a platform game. You try to get from the bottom to the top on these little elevators that go at different speeds. And there's little robots or aliens or whatever running around in there that'll shoot you if you don't shoot them first. And you can't shoot while you're on the elevators. Makes it a little bit more challenging. As you can see in the gameplay behind me, I don't get very far in the crazy game. Oh well. It was kind of neat to add to the collection. And then I also picked up CBS Electronics Tunnel Runner for the Atari 2600. And basically, it's a maze game. You're trapped in a maze, or you're actually in the maze. Three-quarter, third-person perspective view, first-person perspective view, whatever you want to call that. First thing you got to do is you got to find this little key. It looks like an arrow. And once you find the key, you can run out the door and go to the next maze. You got some critters that run around, these little big smiley faces with fangs running around in there. You can push the fire button to see an overview of the map, to see where you're at in there. And it's not too bad of a game. It's kind of fun. And then the last thing I picked up, not a whole lot of pickups this week. The last thing I picked up for my Atari 800 computer was Boulders and Bombs by CBS Electronics. It's kind of like a combination of Dig Dug and I don't know the other game to compare it to. But basically the premise of the game is you have a little digger. It looks like a little spinning thing. as you can dig into dig in tunnels in the ground. Now you hit rocks. Rocks will slow you down, of course. And these little birds up on top of the screen are dropping stuff, and that will grow into like vines or whatever, which will stop your character. So you use your digger to dig out the vines to get by. So the object of the game is get your little guy from one side of the screen over to the other side of the screen 3 times in order to advance to the next level. It's pretty hard. I haven't figured out how to use the bomb, because boulders and bombs, you have a little bomb you see floating around inside the maze. If you pick it up with your little guy, supposedly you can drop the bomb to blow out a big section of the ground. I can't figure out how to drop the bomb. I hit the fire button and it goes back to the digger. I tried hold the fire button to move the joystick and nothing really happened. So I'm not for sure how you drop the bomb. I guess I need to find the instruction book for it and see if I can figure it out. Anyway, short and sweet. Not a whole lot going on this week. So thanks for watching.